Welcome to MCN. Now, as a road tester, I'm very lucky to be able to ride motorcycles on quiet roads with no traffic, and we do that deliberately to keep us safe. But most of us don't have that luxury. So what if you're out and about and you're surrounded in this kind of hostile environment and something goes wrong? Let me show you a few of the things that we look out for. So mixing it with other traffic is precarious because you simply don't know what they're going to do. So I always filter. In my mind, if you're sat behind a car, behind a lorry, they can do anything. You're just exposed to danger. Whereas if you ride on the front foot, you're in control of your own destiny. As well as the perils of traffic, there's also speed cameras, average speed cameras. I mean, that's the good thing of a bike with cruise control. You can just whack it on and you don't stray over the limit. It's brilliant. And talking of controls on the bike, so this Triumph Speed Triple RR has got every bell and whistle known to man. It's got electronic rider aids, it's got cruise control, a quick shifter, it's got a fancy dash, but obviously all of those systems are fallible. I mean, these are just a few of the things that can catch you out. And as you know, there's just loads and loads more. So where do you stand legally if you're in that position? Well, let's go and speak to the expert. So I'm here with Gavin Ryder and Solicitor.
Thanks for having me, Neevesy. Yeah, I'm a solicitor with White Dalton Motorcycle Solicitors.
Yep.
And I'm a biker as well.
We've been out riding on busy roads. Isn't the most pleasurable thing to do. You want to be out riding on a nice country road, but it's a necessary evil sometimes. And when it is busy, one of the big questions I suppose most riders have got is when it comes to filtering. Are you actually allowed to do it? Is it legal? Should you do it? Do the people you're overtaking know you should do it? I mean, where do we stand?
Yeah, well, the short answer is perfectly legal, okay? In fact, it's one of the joys of biking.
And not legal in some countries, so that's added confusion.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So when I talk about being a solicitor in England and Wales, I talk about the law here. And is it legal? Yes, it is, absolutely. And one of the joys of biking, you know, we get wet when it rains, we get cold in the winter, but we can pass traffic. Now, that doesn't always mean that car drivers know the law. And I've dealt with cases where a car driver's, you know, taken umbrage at being overtaken, a biker filtering. So the short answer is perfectly legal. Where should you do it? Now, that's probably the real question, because this is shared space. You know, we've got busier roads than ever before, we've got more traffic than ever before, and there's more of an appeal for bikers, really, to filter. So I guess it comes down to, when you do it properly, you know, lawfully, legally. So we already know you can do it. Whether it's smart to always do it is one of the issues. So generally, when it comes to junctions, or there's a chance that you might come into conflict with another road user, just roll off the throttle. You know, do you need to put the overtake in there or filter there? Equally with car drivers that actually try and block you, you know, and stop you filtering. They might not know that it's perfectly legal, and probably the best course of action will be just roll off. You'll get the overtake, you know, it'll be there soon enough if you're on a bike, and you know, and put it in place lawfully. We do occasionally deal with road rage cases. Okay, so I've dealt with cases, you know, car drivers brake checking bikers, you know, because they got overtaken and you know they weren't happy. Again, it's shared space, and really take care of yourself as a biker.
Yeah.
Even if the car driver's wrong, you know, he's pulled out in front of you, just roll off the throttle, you know, you'll have the overtake soon enough.
That's right.
Probably the best advice I can give.
I suppose as well on motorways, when it's quite sticky traffic, when there's filtering, stop being filtering, start being undertaking. You've got to kind of take that view, haven't you?
Yeah, you do, yeah. I mean, I've ridden in today on the M25, so 4 lanes of chock-a-block traffic. Now, the answer is, it's not written anywhere. You know, there is no black and white answer. I think every biker will find their own sort of comfort zone. But to give you an example, you know, up to 40, 50, if you're filtering past traffic, you know, just 5-10 miles per hour above them, it's probably absolutely fine. Me personally, when it gets to above 50 and you're passing traffic, it starts feeling a little bit hairy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, there's a fine line there as to where it becomes careless riding as opposed to just lawful filtering. And we've spoken about dash cams already, you know, so you've got to have, you know, one eye on the fact that there might be a vehicle there that you've undertaken, which might look like a perfectly legal filtering manoeuvre, but if it's done at speed, if it's done, you know, in close proximity to other cars and you're really zipping up the inside, it might fall on the wrong side of the law.
Yeah. The other thing, I was riding the other day in town and coming up to a crossing, red traffic lights, and I've filtered through the middle of the road to the front of the queue, and under my wheels is a zigzag.
Yeah.
So was I in the wrong then?
Yeah, the crocodile's teeth. Yeah, you've got to be careful because they can snap you. Now, no, so you can filter up there, no problem at all. What you can't be doing is in overtaking the lead car, okay? If you do that, you commit an offence. So to filter up is absolutely fine. The idea behind them is really pedestrian safety. You know, that's why you have them at pedestrian crossings. And pedestrians, you know what they're like, especially in London. You know, they will walk through traffic, you know, not necessarily on the crossing. So absolutely fine to ride up, but when you get to the lead car, just hold back, you know. You'll clear the crossing, then you can
leave the launch control off.
Absolutely, yeah. Your bike revving, you know, at the lights, yeah.
So the other thing you encounter on busy roads are speed cameras. So on our ride, we went through a 60 mile an hour average speed camera. If I'd have gone through at 90 and got the summons, have I just got to take that on the chin? Once I say it's me.
Yes. The first thing is identity. You know, so what you get is a dreaded letter through the letterbox. You know, please identify the rider. Now, on the basis you do that, are you guilty of the offence? Well, a lot of it comes down to what you recollect. You know, if you did go through it at 90 and they've said you're doing 90, well, it's pretty open and shut. Yeah. I mean, you've always got the ability to test the evidence. And what I mean by that is, you know, what device captured me? You know, if it was on a motorway, was it one of the Haydeck 3 cameras? Was it calibrated? You know, is it a Home Office approved device? So there's things to look at if you want to. But more often than not, if you know that you've done it, and you're offered something like a speed awareness course, it might be the lesser of all the evils to go, you know what, I'll accept that. I have to say, in this day and age where we look at cases involving speeding, more often than not, it's above board, you know, everything's in order as it should be.
And there's loads more speed cameras now, aren't they? I mean, the motorways are absolutely littered with them now.
They are. And if you look at smart motorways or all-lane running motorways, it's what they rely on. You know, it's what they rely on to monitor traffic. I mean, there is an advantage to this as well. You've got now the smart gantries, you know, so they will tell you about something that's in the carriageway up ahead. So it's not all bad just looking at the speed cameras. As a biker, you know, if there's debris in lane 3 and they put a sign up saying debris on the carriageway, well, brilliant. I would want to know about that, and you can.
The bike we were riding earlier was a Triumph Speed Triple RR, beautiful bike, full of technology. And I know a lot of comments we get online when we test these bikes about the technology, can it go wrong? I mean, it very rarely does. In all my years of road testing, it hasn't. But what if my cruise control had been stuck on and I'd, hit a lorry or whatever?
I was talking to a biker with a Multistrada, and you know, this thing's got radar guided cruise control. So yeah, technology leaps and bounds. More often than not, it works as it should. I've dealt with a number of cases where things have gone wrong, okay? So you talk about cruise control, a biker who said, actually the cruise control got stuck on and he's had to drop the bike, you know, and slide. So things do go wrong, it comes down to evidence. So if you as a biker say, that's gone wrong on my machine, what do you need to do? Get hold of the machine, okay? Don't let it go anywhere. You recover it to your own, place of free storage. And the important part is we look at the defect, okay? Now, defects are not always obvious. So I dealt with a case involving a gearbox that's seized. Now, you wouldn't know that until the gearbox, the sealed unit, was opened up and we could see that, that the teeth were in pieces at the bottom. So evidence, get the bike. Things do go wrong. Thankfully for us bikers, it's rare. But if it does happen, get that evidence because it needs to be looked at.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. Well, I think the big thing for me, taking away from that, is the filtering thing. You are allowed to do it, but just be sensible about it.